This last January marked the one-year anniversary of the Securities and Exchange Commission handing over to Congress its recommendation that stockbrokers adhere to a fiduciary duty. In the 15 months since the report hit the hands of congressional members, a wave of lobbyists has descended on the SEC to express their opinions on how the agency should proceed. SEC Chairman Mary Shapiro told reporters a year ago that a proposed rule on fiduciary duty would likely come in the second half of 2011. That date was pushed back, mainly due to Capitol Hill pressuring the SEC to conduct a more rigorous cost-benefit analysis on the fiduciary rule. According to the publication Advisor One, Shapiro now says a proposed fiduciary rule will be released this year, and that the economists and staff at the SEC who are responsible for performing a more detailed cost-benefit analysis on the agency's fiduciary rule plan to ask the public to weigh in. Industry officials predict that this will likely push back an unveiling of the fiduciary proposal even further. What is the likelihood that a fiduciary standard will actually be imposed upon the commissioned brokerage business, and how would this already overtaxed SEC police this? Regardless of what the SEC is finally able to deliver, investors would be wise to take it upon themselves to understand the differences between a commissioned salesperson and a fiduciary. And that's what Mark and I are here to talk about today. Every person should know this word. Every person should know how the people they're hiring get paid, and the differences between how they're getting paid and what that might mean to the advice they're receiving.
Absolutely, Tom. So listen, I would like all of our viewers to go to Wikipedia as an adjunct to today's program, and type in fiduciary and read a wonderful section there in Wikipedia that talks about the history of this concept and the laws around this concept, the roots, where it came from, back in England, the Chancery Court. And so it's really important that people understand how powerful this is from their perspective, okay? So let's talk about some of these terms.
When you say there, by the way,
so the benefit of the client, in this case, or for the investor, right? So a person whom the property or power is entrusted for the benefit of another person. So in our case, we act as that fiduciary, right? But let's talk about some other cases. Okay, so first of all, what about the issue of how does your advisor get paid? Okay, that's an elementary question here. And so one of the choices is that you pay them based on a commission from the product seller, the product creator. So a mutual fund pays a load, all right? Or when you trade, the broker gets paid a commission, a share, or a fee for doing this particular trade on your behalf.
Or an annuity, for example, too, commission again being paid there.
Yep, so an annuity, an insurance, there's a lot of other things that people get paid commissions for, but those are paid from the product side. So the problem with that for the investor is there's an obvious source of a bias there from their perspective. So that's probably the most common way that you see investors that investors are handled and charged for the services of financial professionals is through a commission kind of arrangement. Now there's a little bit of a hybrid approach, which we call fee-based.
You have the hybrid right in there.
Yeah, which is called the fee-based. You got your little dash in there, right? And so once again, you want to know, how does this advisor get paid? And you have to dig a little bit here, and it's sometimes uncomfortable to go to your advisor and say, tell me, what are all the sources, lay them out, that are going to generate revenue for you from my account. Interestingly enough, in the 401k space, come July, these are going to have to be clearly spelled out. Maybe that's something that all investors should get, but at minimum, you should be educated to ask the financial professional for the source of all of their revenues relative to your particular account. So in this case, you have a blend. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say you're paying a fee here, but people oftentimes hear fee and they think it's just based on the assets are managed. However, fee-based means a fee, but they could also be collecting a commission for a product that they sell you.
They can get 12B1 fees, they can get loads, etc. And so you still have a conflicted arrangement with that particular kind of fee-based advisor. All right, so the third category is what we call fee only. And that is probably the arrangement that is best suited for a fiduciary perspective, okay? In fact, the other two it would be difficult to classify them as a fiduciary at all, right? So in this case, you're only paid by the client instead of by the firm or the products, right? You're paid by the client for the services that you provide, and you're unbiased. You have no bias because you're not directing them to the products that pay you the most, which would be the natural inclination for those who are paid a commission.
You're not beholden to a particular mutual fund or something because they're not getting money from them to sell a product, for example.
Exactly, exactly. And so they pay an ongoing fee also, which is important in that the advisor has an ongoing incentive. Incentives are in the right place here. That's one way to think about this. They're paid an ongoing incentive to keep that investor invested the correct way, because when the investor does a little better, so do the fees for the advisor, who get paid some percentage of those assets. So everybody's aligned in that way, and it really is the best way, and happens to be the way we do it here at IFA. It's the IFA way.
Exactly, I like the IFA way. And
there you go.
We come back, we'll talk about some of those hidden fees that people don't. You mentioned 12B1 fees, for example. We'll talk about some of those things that people don't pay very much attention to, yet they should, because billions of dollars of your money is being taken out of your investments and being put in someone else's pocket. We'll take all that up when we return with IFA TV in just a moment.